naturally, when you don't have money, you always put money at the top of the list. But then once you get money, you get a greater perspective on the world. And so I really do want more money. Like, that is a big reason for a lot of the things that I do.
Honest answer, I love that.
Like,
Let's get into some feel-good storytelling.
yeah.
You are an NBA All-Star. However, it wasn't the most traditional path.
Right.
You overcame a little bit of adversity, actually a lot of bit of adversity, but nothing new to the kid from Rockford, Illinois. Let's get into that story. Undrafted, all the way into NBA All-Star.
I'll just take you back to draft night,
Yeah,
2016.
perfect.
I worked out for 18 teams. I did 18 draft workouts in 30 days. I flew all across the country. I was doing 3-4 a week. I felt really good. I had some great workouts against other guys that went on to get drafted, where I outplayed them or whatever else. So I'm thinking that's all it took.
Let me pause you real quick. 18 draft workouts in 30 days, people. I don't know if you really understand the amount of load and stress that took, and you were able to get through it healthy, sound, complete, and perfect.
Yeah, I was locked in. And it wasn't like, how I travel now with money and, this was like.
You weren't comfortable.
No, this was like Southwest, connecting flights, delays, cancellations. I was grinding, but I had worked my butt off to be in shape. And so draft night comes, agent says, there's a chance you might not get drafted. There's a chance that, there's a G League team that wants to take you, or their team that might draft you, stash you, whatever the case may be. And, I just worked through that, and we went through the whole thing. I had a big party, didn't get drafted. And then it was two teams between, I think, Indiana and Toronto. And I knew that my agent at the time told me, like, the guy in the front office in Toronto, he likes your game, whatever. They said, you have a chance to make the team. I'm like, all right, cool, lock it in. Go to Summer League, play. The guy in front of me at the time was DeLon Wright. He's the backup point guard or the young point guard on the team, and he ends up tearing his shoulder. So then I step up, play, and he was out for a long time. So like for that whole preseason up until it was time for them to decide who to keep, he was out. So that helped me a lot.
Right. But you were ready.
I was ready. I was ready for the opportunity. I was definitely ready. So I was like fourth on the chart. Obviously that moved me up, and then I was just working from there. And so that was just a mindset that I was locked in too. So that's what got me on the team. I had to stick it out and just fight through it. And I didn't play right away. I spent a lot of time in the D League in my first year. Ultimately went on. We won the finals, won the championship in my first year. And then I played a little bit in the NBA playoffs in the same couple weeks.
Okay.
Which was an experience. So 1 week I was winning a G League championship, and then 2-3 weeks later I was
In the playoffs.
playing against LeBron and the Cavs
Right.
in the playoffs. So
Were you ever starstruck? Not starstruck, but damn,
No.
I'm out here.
no, but I will tell this story. So in Cleveland, the court is raised to the bench, and when I wasn't playing, I watched the game differently. So when I knew I wasn't gonna play, I just could enjoy the game.
Sure.
And there was a play where we did something, turned it over or something, and Kyrie ran and threw it off the backboard to Bron, and he ran and caught it. Boom! And you could see the floor shake. And they were on the far end, but you could the arena and the whole building was so loud.
Right.
Floor.
Rumbling.
And I was looking around, and I was like, damn, this the NBA, this is Bron James.
This is the NBA.
And this is as a rookie.
Sure.
So I got to see that, and then, from that point on, anytime I got in the game, I was competing. But that was
you were you.
Yeah, I'm always gonna be me, to the furthest extent, knowing this stupid. But yeah, then my second year I played a little bit more. That was the bench mob year. We had one of the best units in the NBA.
Outscoring starting units, I heard.
Yeah, we were really, really good.
Who was a part of that unit, just real quick?
That was me, DeLon Wright, Norman Powell, CJ Miles, Jakob Pertl, and Pascal. I don't know, I almost forgot Pascal. 'Cause Pascal played with the starters
Oh,
too,
of course. Yeah.
Spicy P. So it was
Shout out to the bench mob.
it was us, and there was a couple other guys I think that played in and out. But yeah, we were running through teams, and teams actually started adjusting their lineups to our lineup, so they would have to put their starters in against us because bench versus bench, we was going
just rolling through them.
Gonna be bad. So we had a great year that year. We didn't get it done in the playoffs, and then the next year, which was the championship year, that was my third year in the NBA, which was that's its own story of just trading DeMar, firing Coach Casey, Coach Nix takes over.
The coach of the year.
Coach of the year gets fired. DeMar DeRozan, the face of Toronto, the face of Canada.
For years.
The draft pick, he gets traded, which was just like, whoa, what's going on?
Right.
You get Kawhi.
Right.
And yeah, that whole year was just like up and down, just getting ready, trying to get ourselves wrapped around the idea of playing for a championship. And we got Marc Gasol at the deadline, which was a great addition. But you could tell it was like we were trading guys that were a huge part of what we built, you know what I mean, to go take a shot for the title. So you could feel that. And obviously once the playoffs started, it was just like 2.5 months, 2 months of just up and down, roller coaster emotions, the highest level of basketball that I've experienced.
Sure.
For sure.
Sure.
And just a special experience to be able to make it that long, which was, I think April 15th to June 15th or whatever it ended up being.
Two extra months of basketball.
2 extra months for sure that you got to make it. And it's not all like you think that the team that won the chip was just steamrolling through the playoffs. Like it wasn't like that for us. There was days where we were down 0-2 to the Bucks. We lost game 1 to the Magic. Philly had us beat a couple times. It was like we didn't think we was gonna win the whole time. You know what I mean? It was like up and down, and there were good days and bad days.
You were playing 25 minutes a game?
Yeah.
Which means, sometimes you'd probably play more in some games, not in the other. Like, I think it's important for people to know and understand, like, how do you stay prepared?
Yeah, well, I struggled in the playoffs. So naturally, what we used to do around here and what happens a lot in the NBA was like, so I told you about that bench mob.
Yeah.
But like that don't exist in the playoffs.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's for the regular season. In the playoffs, the rotation shrink and everything changes. And
7 people.
yeah, 7 guys, 8 guys, you're playing your top guys. And so that year, I think that was a big adjustment for me. I didn't shoot the ball the greatest against Orlando. I had a couple of good games. And then the Philly series I was terrible. For a lot of different reasons, but I was playing really bad. Junior was on the way. Shantae was pregnant with Junior, and then I think she had him before Game 3 or after Game 3 of the Milwaukee series, and then I took off after that. So it was very tough time for me, but I just always keep confidence in myself and trust that the sun gonna shine again.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And that was like the mindset that I was in at that time. And I just knew as soon as it was as bad as it was, it's gotta go the other way. So whenever that moment hit, when I'm back, I'm back. And shit, I ain't missed the rest of the playoffs.
There it is.
Come here, what do you want?
Mommy said something. I don't know.
What mommy said?
I don't know.
What she said?
She said tell Daddy
Tell Daddy what? What's up, Jay?
something.
Well, listen, I'm almost done, but you gotta be quiet for like
Almost done.
10 more minutes.
Promise.
Okay? No noise. Got it? Look at me. No noise. After my 4th year, I get my first big contract.
Yeah, I know.
And that's a huge part of like, that was like my end to the movie of the first chapter of my life,
Sure.
which was 20. What was I? What I've been 25, I think 24, 25. I signed 4 years, 85 million. Coming from where I come from, the deal that I'm still on right now, like that was just a moment, you know what I mean? And you added the chip in there.
What is a D-League salary?
I think at the time it was like 17,000, or I think at the most it was like 35,000. Because this is before two ways. This is before everything. So my first deal was 550,000. I was signed to the team. 550,000 my first year. Wasn't guaranteed until January 6th or something like that. And then my second year was like 900,000. And then I signed a 2-year, $18 million deal, which I played the championship season into my fourth season. And
Got you.
In the 485. But that was just like a moment where it was just like everything I did paid off.
Yeah.
My family, we good.
We're straight.
We good.
Yeah.
Like we'll figure it out. We're good. And then now transition to the next part is I start become a full-time starter with Kyle leaving.
Yep.
The pretty much the only guard we had, you know, we played Gary Trent, but like full point guard responsibilities, not sharing with Kyle. But I missed him a lot, but I had a lot of opportunity, a lot more opportunity.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, and was able to make, you know, All-Star, which is crazy. You know, it's like just keep climbing and keep growing and keep reaching new heights and not being satisfied. I could have been satisfied with just making it to the NBA, coming from where I come from.
Yeah.
I definitely could have been satisfied with winning the championship or 18 million or 85 million or whatever the number is. But I think just wanting to be great and wanting more for myself allows me to just keep pushing. So
Beautiful.
All-Star year last year, and now here we are. You know what I mean? So being in the moment where you keep climbing, and now you at that whatever that glass ceiling they like to throw on you, where they're like, all right, that's the best you got, and then you gotta keep going.
Let's do that,
Yeah, and show them some more shit and like some different stuff, and just
Yeah.
you gotta keep going. There's always gonna be more obstacles and more challenges, and like people always gonna put you in a box. Always.
Yeah.
Whether it's on purpose or not on purpose. But for me, I just know what I'm capable of, and that's why I keep pushing like that.
My dog. Let's switch sides. What continues to drive you to be breaking through these glass barriers and busting outside these boxes that people put you in, and seeking out someone like me late in your career, and you know, just doing things that you don't necessarily need to do?
Yeah.
What is your why? As corny as that is.
Yeah, well, I think naturally when you don't have money, you always put money at the top of the list. But then once you get money, and like in my world of money that I have, you get a greater perspective on the world. And so I really do want more money. Like that is a big reason for a lot of the things that I do.
Honest answer. I love that.
Like, money is still a motivating factor for me. Like most people look and be like, "Oh, you set for life," and
Sure.
yeah, that's technically yes, but I could spend the money that I have. You know what I'm saying? I could go broke for sure.
Sure.
And so I think one thing that I've learned to love and fall in love with as I get older is consistency, and how hard it is to, okay, you made the All-Star once. Let's do it again. 2 times, 3 times. You won a championship.
Yep.
1 championship, 2 championships, 3 championships. It's like, it's always more levels to go. And as long as you're not jeopardizing yourself or your health or your family or whatever, like, I think you should always aspire to do more and achieve more and not be satisfied with whatever you've accomplished, because life goes on, man. And especially in this age where it's like everything's so quick.
That's
you know,
right.
You download so much information on a daily basis. People don't remember what you did yesterday. You got to keep doing it so that at the end of this shit, when I'm, whatever, 10, 15, 20 years, however long I decide to play, I could say this is my body of work. This is what I contributed to the game.
Yep.
And this is what I made. This is what I left with. And this is how I came in. And that's the legacy, is the body of work.
Sure.
And who you were in those moments. And I think I could say that, I've been myself the whole time. And that's what I'm most proud about.
Hell yeah. How important is legacy for Sinai and Junior?
Yeah, I think more for them, like, I know I'm going to set the standard high in terms of what I achieved because of where I started from. But I think more than anything, I just want them to know, like, that I put the work in.
Nice.
And that's one thing I always try to stress to them, even as babies, is like, Daddy's working.
Yep.
Daddy got to go to work.
Yep.
Daddy be back. Yeah, you want all these toys and all this nice shit. Somebody got to go work for it. So Daddy going to work for that so we are able to have this stuff. And that's the only thing I want them to know is, like, the things that they want to do or get or achieve, they're going to have to work for it. And whatever they turn out to be, hopefully they can carry their own weight, make me, I get some residuals off of my investment, return on investment, as they get to.
Everything's an ROI.
Yeah, young people, but I just want them to be good people and work hard and be respectful.
Well, I'm honored to be someone within your loyal circle. And I do not take that lightly, and I'm super appreciative to be around you and your family, your brothers, and I hope to be around for a long, long time. So thank you for joining us on the table.
Yeah, no doubt.
GBG Gems Table Talk. But before we get out of here, let's retest.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So if you recall this one, just dropping down, no snap, crackle, pop, and less pressure.
Yes.
Definitely.
A lot better.
Beautiful.
More range.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that looked nice. I got to pat myself on the back with that one.
Appreciate you, man.